Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Legal Tech Hub product briefing. I'm Stephanie Wilkins. I am the Director of Content here at Legal Tech Hub, and today we are talking about Neota. I'm joined by Mark Tyndall, the Chief Strategy Officer of Neota. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thanks very much for having me, Stephanie. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited about what you're going to show us today. But before we dive into the demo, can you give us a little bit of a background of what we're going to see?
Sure, very happy to. And so before we dive into the detail, I just want to acknowledge that last year, Neota CEO Julian Ubergang provided a fantastic walkthrough of the Neota platform covering the tools and capabilities in detail. So as a starting point, if you haven't seen that session, I would highly recommend watching it. It's a great way to get familiar with the mechanics of the platform, because today we want to look at the next step for legal teams. So how Neota customers are delivering value very practically with the Neota platform in real world implementations. So we'll look at how legal teams are driving automation projects, orchestrating AI, structuring their digital service delivery models with.
Okay, wonderful. And for everyone watching, at the end of this, we will throw a URL at the bottom of the screen so you can learn more. But I say without further ado, let's dive into the demo if you're ready, Mark.
Thanks, Stephanie. That's great. So at Neota, we've been working really closely with ambitious legal teams for many years, helping them turn automation aspirations into very tangible solutions and results. And what we're hearing louder and louder than ever is not just what legal teams want to automate with our platform, but how they want to sequence their transformation to maximize impact. So in this briefing today, I'll share some of what we're seeing and doing with legal team customers, and we'll look at how these things reflect the way legal teams are evolving into digital leaders within their organizations. It's an exciting trend and hopefully something of interest for the audience today.
No, I'm sure it will be. That sounds great.
Great. So starting with a bit briefly on Neota and our journey, Neota has come a long way, especially since 2019 when I was building automation solutions as a lawyer and customer of Neota. We've gone from expert systems platform built to handle complex rule-based legal reasoning to so much more than that. Over the years, we've evolved into a really powerful no-code automation platform, one that empowers legal and risk and compliance, procurement teams, even claims teams to rapidly build and scale digital solutions and manage those solutions themselves, or collaborate with or hand over those solutions to their IT team to manage them ongoing. When we talk about automation, we now mean that full spectrum of automation: expert reasoning, workflow orchestration, document automation, data-driven decision-making, integrations with enterprise systems. It's not just one piece of the puzzle, but that whole ecosystem of legal service delivery. It's supported by Neota solutions, and those Neota solutions are designed to solve what's broken or what's not working well in your specific organization, your specific team. They're not off-the-shelf solutions like SaaS software you'd buy for CLM or other very specific market generic needs. They're naturally tailored for your specific business process and business problem. So through customer feedback and Neota's success with legal teams, Neota has rocketed itself into the enterprise automation world. There's an example here in this case study. It's actually about vendor supplier onboarding rather than legal specific. And that's interesting, important, because in practical terms, it is working with multiple business units across organizations now. And it's often the legal team taking the lead, and they're the ones delivering the big impact in the digital domain, which is so exciting to see.
Sure.
From a product perspective, Neota has evolved into, again, a very powerful business orchestration layer, a platform that connects people and process and data, again, to solve organization-specific problems, not the problem solved by off-the-shelf SaaS software like CRM or contract lifecycle management solutions. And far more common now is Neota's role in integrating with those systems like CLM or ERP or CRM. And that's often to fix broken implement or fill gaps remaining after, say, an expensive CLM implementation might have failed or be on rocky shores. And again, we're solving our customers' specific pain points that off-the-shelf point solutions can't and will never solve because they're very specific to your business. Instead, we solve that quickly and cost effectively with Neota. So why does 2025 look any different to the past few years? That's what we're going to talk about in a bit of detail today. And there are three key themes really that I'll touch on with our time today. The big change, and please ask questions, Stephanie, as we go.
I will. I
Great.
will, don't worry.
The theme that we've already introduced and talked about, this big change, is that legal teams are moving from passive consumers of technology to active builders and orchestrators of their own service delivery models. And clearly, legal isn't just a reactive function anymore. It's becoming a proactive driver of business efficiency. And Neota is here to help teams take those steps with a platform that's flexible and scalable and ready for enterprise-wide transformation. Secondly, we'll talk about generative AI. It's no longer just a concept, obviously. It's being embedded directly into Neota workflows. But, and this is a big but, we're not talking about unstructured chatbots that generate unpredictable legal responses. Neota is integrating AI in a controlled and structured way. It enhances contract reviews, extracts data, it automates legal processes within strict compliance guardrails. So we'll talk about that and practically how our customers are delivering value. And then thirdly, I'm thrilled to introduce Neota Velocity to you. Neota has introduced a structured time box delivery model that allows legal teams to get up and running with automation faster. So with Neota Velocity, teams can achieve that value faster, gaining immediate impact from automation while building the skills and confidence to scale their own solutions on their own terms.
That all sounds great. And I'm glad you mentioned the generative AI point, because obviously that's a big question a lot of clients have today about their providers and how they're using Gen AI. So I'm interested to hear you say a little bit more about that when we get there.
Great. You can hardly deliver on technology these days without mentioning it. But in all seriousness, there are some really important outcomes being delivered right now with Neota and integrated large language model tools, which we'll talk about now. And the context is, like we've talked about, AI generally is already changing the way legal teams deliver their services, but not in the way that some maybe cheesier headlines suggest, with all the talk about replacing lawyers and things like that. Firstly, as an observation or a starting point, LLM chat interfaces are currently being used primarily for personal productivity, and that's fantastic. We are all using them in that way. I certainly do. And within the right governance frameworks in an organization, and with the right controls, that is going to continue, which is great. But really importantly, legal teams are now using AI and large language model technology specifically, and dropping that technology into their custom automation solutions. So making automated services more efficient and faster, and generally just more capable using AI. So the nuance I think required in this discussion arises because there is so much excitement, but so much skepticism around the use of AI in legal. Every legal team I speak to, that the Neota team speaks to, is grappling with the same question. How do we introduce AI without introducing risk and losing control or creating compliance problems? And at Neota, our answer is relatively simple. AI should not be an open-ended, free-form chatbot making unpredictable decisions. Instead, AI should work within structured legal workflows, assisting legal teams and business users with very specific, defined tasks that free them up to focus on high-value work. And that's how Neota is integrating generative AI. Neota is acting as what we call the workflow wrapper, embedding assistance, LLM assistance, in your organization's processes, but on the back end, not through chats, not through chat interfaces. So Neota doesn't compete with standalone AI tools. There are so many great ones out there like Zuva or Term Scout screens. Instead, we actually embed or integrate AI from, say, Microsoft Azure services within our customers' Microsoft environment. So they're leveraging their own Microsoft hosted OpenAI services, for example, within their environment, their relationship with Microsoft, where it makes sense. And those AI components are being dropped into workflows as discrete, task-specific tools within legal workflows, which is super exciting. So we're talking about far more organization, even team-specific implementations of AI, and that's to perform precisely the tasks that you need performed. And really importantly, the AI doesn't act independently. It works within strict compliance guardrails. So that's at the workflow level, like you see here. At the back-end prompt structuring level, which Neota does, structuring those prompts up ready to fire off at LLM assistance, and how Neota, as an orchestration layer, then uses the outputs from those back-end conversations with AI to help legal teams to be more efficient, achieve more, provide better services, and do that faster.
This is a really helpful diagram for this explanation, so thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting.
No problem. We'll try to bring it into the real world and look at what that means in practice. So asking the question, what are the real use cases here? Where does it add value in legal automation today? So what are our customers actually implementing right now in terms of their use cases? The first one to look at is contract review, kind of risk flagging, clause normalization, things like that. The traditional process is that lawyers manually review contracts naturally. We've all had the experience of sitting there late at night, getting through the backlog of third-party paper review, checking for departures from the playbook and writing emails. The AI enhanced process, and this is you delivering the very particular solution, multi-step workflow, use of AI that suits your contract review process. AI can identify key changes, flag risky terms, classify contracts as low, medium, or high risk. But this is different to other AI-powered contract review tools. Neota is actually allowing you to orchestrate everything in your way, from the intake, passing the contract to a tailored assistant or other LLM endpoint API, prompting the AI. So drafting, again, the prompts for that contract review or multiple contract review steps using rules so it's standardized, returning the results, processing them, sending more prompts, applying structured rules. Neota is doing all of that triaging to ensure that the right team members are seeing the contract and tasked with what they need to be tasked with, or diverting it away from those teams and individuals when it's low risk to avoid an unnecessary review. So the outcome is that lawyers are then only focused on the higher risk contracts, or they're only focused on the tasks that they want to see come across their desk, cutting hours of manual review. So we're talking about doing things specific to your risk appetite tolerance, not generic off-the-shelf products in that sense.
That's great.
Then there's data extraction and summarization. It's been hugely popular. So we've got Neota customers right now who have implemented custom data extraction and summarization tools with Neota. Essentially, they will, rather than spending hours extracting data from matter or project updates and emails and reports, they'll use a Neota workflow embedded with AI assistance to automatically extract and organize key details from that unstructured text. So the outcome is lawyers get structured insights in seconds, say ready for reporting all the company's litigation matters to the board, or for compliance filings or case summaries, whatever it is. And again, we've got a customer who's just recently deployed another beautiful matter update summarization solution deployed to production with Neota, which I'm personally very excited about. There's other things too, AI augmented decision support. So taking what traditionally legal relies on rules-based decision-making playbooks. Teams often codify those in a Neota application, but you can also augment those expert systems with AI to help handle grey area scenarios where strict rules might not even apply, where the work has not yet been done to articulate and document those rules, that playbook. It's usually lower stakes scenarios, but the outcome is that lawyers are getting AI-driven suggestions without replacing structured legal logic. We won't spend too much more time on AI, just noting the time we have today, but you can practically get started with Neota and AI. We recommend a cautious, practical approach to AI adoption in this process automation domain. We recommend and help legal teams to start small, test in a controlled environment before thinking about scaling its use. That can mean duplicating existing rules-based decision tasks in parallel with an AI-powered version. Don't let the AI control the final decision yet. Just compare the results over time to measure accuracy and refine the AI outputs. You might a principle is to use the AI for very discrete, well-defined tasks. So
Right.
start with contract term extraction, summarization, risk flagging, again, not final decision making, but the performance of LLM assistants, these tools, and their consistency and accuracy increases markedly the more narrowly we define the repeatable task that we call on it to do.
I think that's a lot of good advice right there in general about approaching AI. I appreciate that. We try to send that message out a lot.
It's clear feedback we get. People want to use tools in which they understand the data governance, where the data's going, whether data is being used for training or not. Often our customers prefer the Microsoft Azure environment for those very reasons, and then orchestrate all the interactions with it with Neota, which is exciting. So we might finish there on the generative AI piece, just saying that Neota helps to orchestrate all of this. We don't gamble with AI. Neota's role in AI deployments is to move legal teams away from the black box notion, the chatbot, the unchecked decision maker, just ensuring that you've got an orchestration approach to have AI enhance legal work, but it remains safe and controlled and aligned with human expertise. So that's probably enough about generative AI, and happy to answer more questions if anyone wants to get in touch about it. I'd now like to introduce you to Neota Velocity, which is a change of tack, but goes to the practical question, how you might actually practically deliver value with workflow orchestration, with custom web applications or legal automation generally. And we've got a new way of implementing a new program that I'm very excited to talk to you about, Neota Velocity.
Right. So Neota Velocity is new.
It is new, yes. Just recently launched. You're getting almost a sneak peek into our most recent way of delivering value with customers, especially newer customers who haven't yet scaled up their internal no-code delivery capability. So a legal team who may not have delivered digital solutions before, they're saying we want to learn, we want to become those digital product people and convert our services into products. But there's learning to be done, right? In not just the no-code tools and actual building of solutions, but everything that goes around the scoping, design, build, launch, management of digital solutions. That's something that legal teams have not necessarily had experience with before. So Neota Velocity addresses this very challenge and opportunity. And the critical kind of foundational challenge here is that legal teams are super stretched. They're managing ever-growing workloads with limited time and resources. They know categorically automation could help, but the challenge is how do you get from idea to impact when immediate priorities, BAU work, leave so little room to focus on solution design and workflow structuring and automation delivery. So many legal teams need the outcome now. They need automation now. They're facing those burning critical legal service delivery problems, but they don't have the bandwidth to dedicate time to building solutions before seeing results. And that's where Neota Velocity comes in. Neota Velocity flips that script on how legal teams implement automation. Instead of requiring legal teams to first dedicate time to solution design and development, and again, becoming digital product managers, we start by delivering tangible results up front. So the legal team gets immediate value while building internal capability along the way. So you can think of it as a very structured, time-boxed approach. Neota builds and deploys an automation solution tailored to the customer business in a fixed time frame. It's 60, 90, or 120 days, depending on the project. So you see immediate results. But it definitely doesn't stop there. It's not just we do everything for you type service. It's a build empower model. We call it build empower. As we deliver the solution, we're also equipping your team. That can be your legal team. It can be the IT team too, with the knowledge and confidence to scale and maintain automation solutions long-term on your terms.
Wonderful.
Taking a recent example, a new customer on the Neota platform, their legal team needed a solution for managing DPIAs, so data protection impact assessments. And like many legal teams, they saw a clear opportunity for automation, which was to solve a critical service bottleneck. They're advising business teams on privacy issues around the business project or the business initiative. And then the legal team actually has to deliver the assessment, but they didn't have the internal capacity to pick up the no-code tools and build everything themselves straight away. So through Neota Velocity, we helped them rapidly automate the intake component, the self-service guidance generation, the workflow management, and this delivered immediate efficiency and scalability to their DPIA service. But we didn't just deliver a solution, give them a solution and walk away. We worked alongside their team, ensuring that they had the knowledge and tools to continue scaling that piece of automation, but automation beyond that initial project too. So today they're building their own in-house Neota capability now with the confidence to build and expand on that as needed.
Right.
If your legal team is in a similar way struggling to find time for automation, but it's critical to solve particular business challenges and there is no off-the-shelf software to solve it, this is one way forward at Velocity. It's fast and it's structured, it's cost certain, it's uplifted by AI, as we've talked about, and you can always feel empowered and in control in the long run of your solutions and automation delivery. There's so much more we could talk about. So if anyone watches this and has any questions or feedback, or you'd like to learn more about Neota, please head to www.neota.com. Feel free to contact me here with my details, connect with me on LinkedIn, scan that QR code, and you'll get updates on what Neota is doing, or send me a message and I'll look forward to being in touch. So thanks again, Stephanie, for Legal Tech Hub for having me today. It's been great to be here.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us. And in addition to those contact details that Mark just shared, people watching will see a URL at the bottom of their screen to find Neota and learn some more about it. But seriously, Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm excited to have people learn more about it and play around with Neota Velocity.
Us too. Thanks, Stephanie.